My name is Louise Rogers and I'm delighted to be Psychology Magazine's Coach of the Month this month. Are you the kind of person who says yes to everything at work, regardless of your existing workload? Do you say yes to every new request for help, new responsibility or task that you're asked to take on, or every meeting request, even when you know you've got a packed diary and no is the right answer? If you are, then I hope that this series of 4 short videos will help you to say no at work and still succeed. You may already know that by saying yes to everything, you can start to feel overwhelmed because you've overcommitted yourself, and perhaps it can even result in you feeling a bit stressed or anxious. Don't worry, you're not alone. Most of us hate saying no at work and in our personal lives. Nobody likes the idea of disappointing others, but knowing when and how to say it is one of the most important skills you can learn. By the end of this month, I hope to have helped you realise that when it's used carefully, consciously and with forethought, using this little 2-letter word, far from sabotaging you at work, can actually help you to succeed. We're going to begin by thinking about what may be behind the impulse to say yes. Why do we keep on saying yes when we should be saying no? Understanding where it comes from and naming it is the first step in learning how to tame it. So let's start by thinking about some of the factors that may make yes our default answer, even when we're silently saying no, no, no. The first of these is because society expects us to. We live in a yes culture. We're encouraged to say yes to every new experience or opportunity, every new challenge. We're told that we'll get FOMO if we turn down a social invitation, and we say yes to every upgrade, the newest model of everything, and the latest fashion. But although we can choose how we respond to this yes culture in wider society, for example, by making different consumer choices, it can be more difficult to say no if you feel that you're bucking a workplace trend. So what do we do when this yes culture has seeped into the workplace so that people who say yes to everything are seen as the real go-getters? Understanding more about ourselves and how to manage our responses can help. Let's start by thinking about our early experiences of saying no and how this may still be affecting us. What do we learn about saying no when we're a very small child? As any of you who are parents will know, it's one of the first words many babies will say. Put your shoes on, no. Eat your broccoli, no. Go to sleep, no. It may lead to it becoming associated in our minds as being behaviour that's uncooperative or difficult. So we can see that if we take our inner child to work with us, this may lead us to say yes to things at work when the answer should be no. We don't want to be seen as difficult or uncooperative. We want to show that we're mature and capable, and we think that by saying yes to everything we're asked to do, we'd be demonstrating adulting behaviour. But the reverse may be true. By saying yes, we may be compromising other work or agreeing to deadlines we can't meet, and ultimately letting somebody else down. It may help if we ask ourselves, if I say yes to this, what am I going to have to say no to? Because something usually has to give. Are we saying yes because we think we have something to prove? Have you ever felt that you're about to be found out at work and asked to leave the building? Perhaps you're saying yes to things you should be saying no to prove to someone or even to yourself that you're in the right job. Feeling that you've somehow faked yourself into your current position is more common than you might think. You may already know this as imposter syndrome, and it frequently rears its head during coaching sessions. Taking ownership of your successes can help to beat imposter syndrome. Try making a personal inventory of your most recent individual achievements. And for each, make a note of which of your skills and qualities helped you to succeed. Or perhaps it was part of a team effort, such as a pitch to a new client. What did you contribute to the team? What strengths did you show? Take a mental step back and what do you notice? Which of your successes are you not owning? And how much of it have you put down to sheer luck or being in the right place at the right time? Developing more self-awareness about what you're good at and the strengths you bring to the table is not an overnight project. But being able to internalise your accomplishments is important and will also give you a clearer idea of the only kinds of things you should be saying yes to and those that play to your strengths and abilities. Sometimes we keep saying yes because we think it will make people like us. People who have imposter syndrome may also be people pleasers. But all those yeses can lead to burnout. I once left a job I really loved because I was just too stressed by the sheer amount of work there was to do. And when I handed in my notice, my boss said to me, "Louise, your problem has been that you never said no. And you even went around the organisation saying to people, 'Oh, I can do that.'" I was definitely a people pleaser. I was putting other people's needs, and that meant other people's careers, before my own. And ultimately, it wasn't only me that lost out. The organisation lost someone who was good at their job because I couldn't work out how to avoid making choices primarily to please others. This and the constant validation of others that came with it have become a personal habit. Try asking yourself, who am I trying to impress by saying yes to this? Am I saying yes because I just want this person to like me and not because it's the right thing to say? Sometimes we can say yes too much because we're frightened of the consequences of saying no. Fear is a really powerful driver. It even affects the chemicals in our brain, leading to the fight, flight, or freeze impulse, none of which are particularly helpful at work. At work, it may be that we're frightened of saying no, and because of that, we say yes to everything. But what are we really frightened of? Do we say yes because we think that by doing otherwise, we may open ourselves to rejection or perhaps conflict, or being seen as a failure? Are we in fact catastrophizing the consequences of saying no? For example, by thinking, if I say no, I may never get that promotion or pay rise or bonus. Or perhaps you're a freelancer, in which case you fear that if you say no to an extra project when you know you've already got enough on, this may result in the client never asking you to do anything again. Of course, this may be true, and that's why it's important to breathe through the impulse to say yes and buy yourself some time before making a response. Just a few seconds to check in with yourself and see whether in fact yes is the right answer can make all the difference. Try asking yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen if I say no to this? What we really need to do is to learn how to weigh things up. So this week, we've looked at where the impulse to say yes may come from. We've started by thinking about the external drivers that may make this our default option. We've also considered some of the inner processes that may lead us to become a yes person, from imposter syndrome to people pleasing, and how the culture of the workplace may make it harder to say no. But the message I would like you to take away and try before I speak to you again is this one: to breathe through the impulse to say yes, so that you can buy yourself a second or two of time and make sure that you're making the right decision before you commit yourself. Next week, we're going to be looking more closely at when it's better to say no. What internal checks and balances can you set up to guide your decision making? Thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to talking to you again. Bye.